This is cost effective.
Cost effective.
Cost effective.
Cost effective.
Cost effective.
Cost effective.
Hi, Fred.
Hi, Mwende.
Happy Valentine's in advance.
To you too.
Thank you.
And our viewers.
Happy Valentine's. We were shooting when it was Valentine's. We must acknowledge our feelings and the feelings of our viewers.
Yeah.
Maybe no one has wished them a happy Valentine's.
Yeah, Mwende was about to send a message to single people.
To the single people,
Yes.
in case no one has wished you a happy Valentine's. Happy Valentine's.
I hope you have
We're
a good
with
day.
you in spirit.
Mm.
Stay strong.
All right. Anyway, welcome back to another episode of Cost Effective. And in today's episode, Mwende holds a black cup. I have a toothpick in my hand. And we'll be talking about a lot of fun stuff. Welcome. So, last time you left us off on a very serious discussion about safety in our buildings, and we are still collecting our information on the ground. We'll be back to you guys actually with what we find as the status of the safety of buildings. That we're actually living in. Probably we can just.
So on that note, let me first
okay.
tell you something. So
Yes.
The other day I called my dad,
Mm.
who is a quantity surveyor, please be sure. And I tell him, the fire extinguishers you have in the office, I need some for my house. Where did you get them from?
Mm.
And it's like, why do you need in your house? You don't need. Just turn off the gas cylinder and you're fine. As in, that's the only source of fires in a house. And I was like, yes, just make sure everyone is turning off the gas cylinders in your house once you're done. And I just realized we really take chances.
Yeah, we do.
And I think in as much as we're saying it's the responsibility of developers, but what is our role in this?
You know, it's interesting because I've had some time to think about this, and aside from the things that we actually see and appreciate, like fire extinguishers and hose, they're called rails. Yes.
Our water hose?
Yes. Fire hydrants or the lack thereof. The signs. There's other things that we may not be able to see.
Mm-hmm.
And I think some time ago, when there was an issue with a building in South Sea, and I think authorities have been over it and have given numerous reports about it, someone raised a very important question about the safety of our buildings. And it was comical, and you're saying, we thank God that Kenya is a practically a safe country because we don't experience earthquakes.
That's true.
Right?
Because it would be...
Yeah, but this person was putting it in the sense that how safe are we if, for example, and again, God forbid, an earthquake with the magnitude of the kind that are experienced in places like Japan and whatnot. If that happens in Kenya, what do you think would be the result?
Let's even forget about earthquakes first.
Yes.
Something as simple as this is a building.
Yeah.
The adjacent property is vacant or empty, then they want to develop.
Yeah.
The minute they start with excavating their foundation, is that going to also affect us? Are we going to also sink with which is true?
These are things that have actually happened.
Which have happened. And it doesn't even have to be an earthquake. Something as, let's call it small, as the next property, the adjacent property being excavated could also result in issues in the current property that you're in. Because again, cutting costs, they didn't want to also go too deep in as excavating.
But you see, there's the nuanced part, which is, we assume that developers want to cut costs. But then there's also now the responsibility that comes with ensuring that you have the correct team on site. And I think we may have touched about this some time ago, but yes, we do have very highly qualified structural engineers in this country, most of whom is it whom or which? Most of whom are recognized by the engineering board of Kenya, and they have license to practice. But their involvement in these buildings and these construction projects, is it an active involvement where they are allowed their creative and also professional responsibility to design structurally safe buildings? And then also, how does this the question now would be, how does this spill over to when the contractor is actually on site constructing these buildings? And that question really made me to start thinking, because you see, foundations and columns and beams are not things that we practically think about when you're in a building.
In a building.
Because they're not things you will be seeing.
There's someone who is in a building who doesn't know what a beam is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, you even talk about thinking about the column and the beam. But there's some, which is okay, because maybe that's not your area. That's not something you're interested in.
That's true.
So you're just in the building.
Yeah.
You don't know what the beam is.
Yeah.
Is it adequate? I
Yes.
don't know if this wall is load bearing. It's not load bearing. What the implications are of knocking it down or not knocking it down.
Yeah. Which is quite interesting, and I think if this is anything to go by, I think there's a lot that needs to be done to also just put this knowledge in the public, that for someone who would want to bring up a building of whatever scale, do they understand that this is a process that must be done, not as a means to
ticking off
on your checklist. Or the government will not allow you to build until there's a structural engineer, and then he just provides the drawings, and then the guy disappears, not allowed to supervise the project. I think a lot more sensitization needs to be done in the general public, so that I think coming from a point where everyone understands that the safety of a building is a lot more than what meets the eye, then I think they would appreciate more the input of these professionals that should be involved in projects.
And I think what you're saying, not just involving them at the beginning, then now you don't use them again, because again, you go on site, what you had predicted or what you had anticipated is very different from what's on the ground. So things keep changing.
Yes.
In as much as a structural engineer will give you their plans, whatever it is that they need to give you, you go on site, things are different. You need to either excavate more, you need more support, you need so many different things. And in terms of support, when it comes to maybe the foundation, the building, but now because the structural engineer is not involved in the actual project, the contractor goes with the initial plan, but the situation or the conditions on ground are very different. Relying
on his previous experience.
I know this could work.
Yeah, we've all had experiences. The foreman, is it tunajengaga sana?
Sana. Yes. Na itakuwa tu sawa.
Yes. Mbona, like, why is your column base 1 meter by 1 meter, for example, by 300 deep.
It.
Hii tunakaga hata 500. 500 itabeba.
I know.
Kind of thing.
And if something goes wrong, you're not going to go and look for the foreman.
And it's also very hard to audit a collapsed building, in the sense that the loss has already happened.
It has.
So I think the rallying call here is preventative. Let's change our mindset and our thinking as Kenyans as general and people who want to build. These professions exist for a very good reason.
That's true.
And the cost that you imagine that you're going to save by not involving a qualified structural engineer and by not letting this engineer supervise your project to completion could catch up with you in future.
It does. It does. And some things look very basic.
Yeah.
And I've seen a house where the topmost apartment,
Yes.
it's the roof of the building is flat.
Yeah.
So again, there's the issue of waterproofing.
Oh yeah. We're getting there.
We're getting there. So
Yeah.
it might look like a very small thing that you've not waterproofed adequately,
Yeah.
but how does it affect the topmost apartments
Yeah.
in that building?
Yeah.
So they're not livable because there's mold.
Yeah.
They're wet.
Yeah.
But you're just like, we don't really need to waterproof that much. But you have a flat roof.
Yeah.
What was the plan? Or even your drainage is not the best, so water is stagnant on your flat roof.
Yeah.
But because you decided we're not waterproofing is expensive, so we will not go the extra mile.
It's interesting that you bring that up, because aside from the lapses, that occur when we don't involve the correct professionals, there's also now the lapses that occur when we don't follow procedure. Okay, there's like when you talk about waterproofing, there's an immeasurable risk that comes up.
That's true.
Because when you've constructed your flat roof and you've put functions on that flat roof, say for example hanging clothes or just a place where people can sit and relax.
And most of them actually have water tanks.
Yes,
that's what I've actually.
Water tanks,
yes.
Solar panels.
Yes.
In some cases. What people don't realize is that once that roof is done and it's not done properly, okay, water will come, rainfall or a tank leaking or whatever, and that water will have to find a channel somewhere
to exit
somewhere, and that's what
yes.
most people don't quite appreciate, that small things have big impact later on. And there's some years ago, there's a friend of mine who invited me to have a look at the apartment block.
Okay.
And to see if there's a solution that can be given. And what we found there was quite shocking. The building primarily was built using this precast panels.
Okay.
It's a high-rise building.
Okay.
Now, in and of themselves, the panels don't have a problem, but there was a workmanship issue where there was so many gaps between those panels that were filled using plaster.
And I think that's the issue with this precast slabs or panels. Or yes, I know it cuts down on waste.
Yes.
So and then also
Time.
carbon footprint, time,
Yeah.
and our, what do I call it? Our impact on the environment.
Yeah.
But are the people on the ground educated enough
to
use them?
Exactly. And is there the requisite skill and workmanship to execute this well?
Yes.
So what was happening in this building is that yes, they've done the roof drainage. You can't see water.
Yes.
But that water, as it comes down, was finding its way into people's buildings.
Wow.
So you find issues like tiles are coming out, the wooden finishes are starting to rot, and then now inadvertently, because they covered up these gaps with plaster, there's now molding.
It's molding.
That happens, and it's just primarily, you'd think molding only would happen in the bathroom, but in this case, it was happening anywhere and everywhere.
In the whole.
Which now eventually affects the well-being of the people in that building. And I don't think we talk about this enough for people to understand the effects of long-term exposure to
mold.
such things, and for people with young children, they wonder,
my children are always sick. We're always going to hospital.
They're always just like that. It's they're having flare-ups of respiratory issues, and otherwise they would have just been fine. But you see, this never occurs in our minds to think that when due procedure is followed, when we build our buildings well, it's not just seeing it standing, it's also now how it
functionally at the end,
and how it interacts with us being inside these buildings. And safety is not just building collapsing. Safety is also how it affects our well-being in that case. Being in that building,
in that building, and I think also it's also an issue of even the materials being used in the building.
You picked up my thoughts.
Yes. So it's not just about even the mold, even just the general materials being used. How safe are they for the people who are using the buildings?
In our previous episode, you talked about the cladding that was used in that building.
Yes.
And how easily it caught fire. Interesting.
And the worst thing is when you're going to purchase a home or an apartment or even rent, if you're not in the construction industry, you might not know too much about materials. So
you might not even care about.
You might not even care. So you might not even think, this is highly flammable, or it's toxic. It's a toxic material or a toxic substance that has been used in the building. And so you don't know. So some of these things also, the responsibility lies almost fully on the developer. But because you're trying to cut down on costs, so now, the other day actually, funnily enough, I saw some cladding on a building.
Yes.
And the issue with cladding these days, it starts falling down. And I am not sure exactly what goes wrong, but now you can see. And so you have a building that has cladding all the way up. And their cars down. Parked down, there are children who play down. And then you have pieces of the cladding falling every now and then. You're not sure when it's going to fall. You're not sure if it's going to fall. It could fall on.
That's a safety hazard.
And you did really need the cladding. If you couldn't do it properly, don't have the cladding. Because it's more of a decorative element as opposed to really functional. So if you don't need it, don't put it, because it could injure someone. It could kill someone. It could ruin someone's car.
That's true.
But
workmanship remains quite a big challenge in this country, and I think despite the best efforts by NCA, for those who don't know, that's the National Construction Authority, that is mandated to keep the building standards to where they're supposed to be. They still, I don't think they're empowered enough to be on every construction site.
They're not. Even
on every corner of this country. How many are they
to be able to? You even here, there's something, it's not really related to construction, but I think it was in terms of clinics in Nairobi and the health officers that are able to go around checking the clinics if they have the right certification. And I think they're talking about Nairobi County having 3 only.
What?
So the possibility of them even ever landing on some of these clinics is almost zero, So it's they're not enough. So some of these buildings might never really fully be inspected. So there's that issue. And then now the developer knows there's that loophole. So
and because they're stretched, it opens up the big animal of corruption. Like they're already so tired.
Yes.
Like, Shika, this
we'll just pay something small. Yes. But now, because for you'll be done once the construction is done, it's completed. You don't care about the people who are going to use the building. And now the people who are using the building come in, and then there's issues such as cladding that is falling off. Flammable materials in your house.
That's not actually something you would even think about.
That's the thing. And some people don't even know what cladding is. So they're not even sure that. So when you're checking, you're not sure why there's gaps on the cladding, but you don't realize that it's because it's falling off.
Maybe we can explain what cladding is.
Please do.
Basically, when you have it's mostly on a wall. It's the same concept as tiling. You know, you have your wall and you put your tile on top of it, using the required adhesives and grouting. So it's the same concept, but now outdoors. You know, a wall that can have a stone cladding, a brick cladding, or those fancy aluminium ones
Yes.
that
we were talking about.
Wendy was talking about
Yes.
earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the principle of cladding,
Of cladding.
and it's nice that you bring that up.
Yes.
So I think a lot needs to be done. I don't know how we can build more sensitization on improving the safety of our buildings, and even from an enforcement
I think
point of view.
it would be mostly from an enforcement point of view, because
Yeah.
if I know no one is going to come and check, I know I might not really get into trouble for it.
Yeah.
I'll do what it is that I want. That will, again, minimum costs,
Yeah.
more profit.
Yeah.
So safety, I'll think about it, but not too much.
Yeah.
Because again, I might be constructing or developing, but I'm not going to use the said building. So for me and my family, we're fine.
You're fine. Yeah.
We're fine.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah.
Or if it's my office, we're not there. It's not. We're good to go. So I think it's about enforcement, and also very strict fines and measures. Because if you're heavily fined or even jail time, it could really deter people from taking shortcuts.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, nothing really happens. And
It's
even
not
if
working.
a site is shut down, it's shut down for a short period. And then again, you'll just see it's back. And you're like, oh, I thought they said, but now it's back again.
Yeah, or the most they can do is just put that X. You've seen that?
It's like
yeah.
the Shell in Kileleshwa.
Yeah.
They were saying it's riparian land
Yes.
and it has to come down. And it was urgent. It has to come down.
Yeah.
It's back again. Okay, it's not
Bigger.
riparian land
It's not-
anymore.
it's now a mall.
Even bigger. So I'm like, what happened? What changed after?
The river changed
So you
its
can't
mind.
tell us one thing, that it was disrupting the flow of the river and the ecosystem,
Yeah.
and then a few years down the line, we're told again, now it's fine. Let's bring something bigger.
Do you know, actually, there's a politician who said that.
Yes.
That the river changed its mind.
That's what we think, yeah, most probably.
He's
Yes.
on record saying that. Yeah.
And I mean, sometimes also, when you say such things as a leader,
Yeah.
are you really thinking about the environment, your country, the well-being of the environment?
Posterity? No, man.
And I think
It's a problem.
It's so wrong and so ignorant for you to
Yeah.
make such remarks when you know. Just keep quiet. You know the wrong thing
Yeah.
has been done. Just don't comment on it. Because a river cannot change its mind. You changed your mind and decided that it's okay now. It's no longer an issue.
Yeah. It truly is a big problem, and I think this is a call to all agencies. I think we need a more concerted effort in terms of this, because yes, the fines, the jail terms, they're all they're there, and even among,
But they're not enforced.
No. But even among enforcers themselves, because enforcement relies on human beings like you and I.
That's true.
And in the news, they had aired that CCTV clip from the ill-fated building in South Sea
In South Sea, I saw the.
before it collapsed or something
Yes.
like that. Enforcement had gone there to close the site. Do you know the guy was thrown from the first floor, man? The
Oh,
agent,
no,
the
really?
government agent.
Really?
Yeah, the guy was thrown by the workers. It's on CCTV.
Oh, I didn't see that.
A guy thrown from first floor, fell. Then he had to run to safety.
Oh, no.
So now imagine.
So also their safety. So they know it might be a hostile environment where
Yeah,
we're going.
yes.
So even them, they back off.
They're doing their job,
Yes.
trying to
And you
ensure
don't
that,
have-
our
Your safety is at risk.
Yeah. But they come face to face now with rogue developers who use rogue means
And
to
intimidating them.
Yes,
Yes.
to achieve their ends. And you see, when you come face to face with someone like this, it's probably this African phenomenon of untouchable
Yes.
because they have connections to certain people, it leaves us in limbo as the end users. Okay, we are forced to accept what is there. That saying in the streets, "Nisi ndio tuko."
Yes, that's true.
So we are stuck with that, and it's unfortunate that most people don't really know such things. I've walked into buildings actually, and most recently, just somewhere in this nice Kenya of ours.
Okay.
It was a very random walk-in because it was in Nairobi, and I needed to know that I can stay here in my travels around the country. This is somewhere in Western.
Okay.
Yeah, and from the facade of the building, it looked really nice.
Really nice. Until you get in.
It looked really nice, But immediately we walk in, from the staircase. It's something I always tell my friends who are not in construction or who don't understand buildings. I tell them that the first indication that a building has not been built well is the staircase.
The staircase.
Immediately you notice that one step is shorter than the next
one.
and then the last one is non-existent.
Yes,
that's a big problem. It's a big indication that there's,
because you can even go to some of this.
I
don't want to call it a lodging. Lodging is
you've been there?
Motels or small motels, because again we've also traveled and gone to I'm talking about like traveling when you go up country and whatnot.
Okay.
And you get a room.
Yeah.
But you can't even shower because you can see the shower connection. And
you're
risking, you're risking your life. The water, the electricity, and what's going on up there, you just say, it's okay, I'll shower when I go back home. And it looks like something so small, but you're actually risking your life by taking a shower in that. And it's not because of hygiene, no?
Yeah.
Electrical issue. You could be shocked, you could be electrocuted, anything. And people who don't know, because you'll enter and you'll just look at that setup, you'll just say, no, either I take a cold shower or I just don't shower at all. But someone else will just be like, that just looks like it's normal, it's fine. Let me take a shower, We're used to it. But it can also be very tragic. It's very unfortunate.
I always take cold showers.
Cold showers. I'm not going to risk. Let me just take my cold shower as opposed to being electrocuted in a lodging or whatever it is that you are.
Can you imagine the story the next day?
I know. So it's
middle-aged man found dead.
I know.
In a lodging.
It will be a different story. It won't be what it really was, but it's not your own doing.
Yeah.
It's a fault of the hotel management, or let's not even call it a hotel. That's
that place. Anyway, so so my story. We walk in and the staircase is wide with uneven steps, but the corridors are narrow, like absolutely narrow, and nothing is in a straight line. The end point at that end of the corridor is not aligned to the other side.
Yes.
So,
and some of them they're not accessible by anyone that is not, if you're a wheelchair user or you cannot.
Which is also another,
that's another,
Anyway, so, I was just thinking now as an enforcement agent, how do we deal with such things? Because this is someone who is now has already invested millions, but building standards are not up to par. Whether it was out of ignorance or out of defiance, we don't know. Okay, but the interesting thing is, even this badly done, unsafe buildings will still have clients because in that area, that was the only building I could find where
desperation.
I could get,
and they actually take advantage of desperate clients.
Yes.
And I will reduce the rent by a little bit. So now you feel like this is a good deal.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's not a good deal because you're also not safe in the building.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, in the long run, I think a lot needs to be done, and it doesn't stop with structures and foundations and beams. It's very interesting that you bring up this instant showers. It's because our safety also needs to be tied to the plumbing systems, the electrical
systems. Have you gone to a house and the wiring in that house?
Yeah.
I don't need to use anything, but I'm just feeling unsafe because of the wiring in the house.
Yeah.
And because you don't know, you think you're safe.
Yeah.
But anything could go wrong at any one point in time. And of course, also, again, electrical issues also bring up fires.
It's one of the biggest contributors to spontaneous
and
fires.
You don't know. And then again, you have another funny connection in your shower. Then there's water mixed with electricity.
I don't know. How did we come to accept that as normal, actually? Is it as a cost-cutting feature?
I think what I noticed initially, most houses at some point had boilers.
Yes.
But the boilers were taking too long.
And also
to heat up. And one, the electrical bill. And then two, the time. So you'd find that if we're going to get ready to go to work at 6, someone must set an alarm for 4, get up.
Put on the boiler.
If we wake up all of us at 6, we realize all of us are having a cold shower because no one turned on the boiler. So there's that issue of time, and no one has that time anymore.
We grew up with that.
Yes,
also.
That's what we grew up with.
Yeah.
So now when someone came up with instant shower.
And then you must also remember to also switch it off.
To switch it off. If you leave it, someone is going to leave the office or school to go back home to turn it off.
Yeah.
You cannot leave it on the whole day.
Yeah.
So I think now people were just like, okay, this is not working. And someone came up with the instant showers.
Yeah.
And because it's cheaper to install, the bill is also considerably low.
Yeah.
And it's fast.
Yeah.
I'll just turn it on and my water is already hot.
It's hot. Yeah.
So, but now the quality of these instant showers, the wiring is also another issue.
Yeah.
So, yes, you're saving,
Yes.
but you're also risking your life.
Yeah.
And then I've also found some houses right now don't really have boilers or water heaters inside the unit.
Yeah.
So it's just maybe the solar system. And the solar system or the panels that we have only function when there's heat. Because right now, as we said, there's some solar panels that as long as there's sunlight, they will work.
Yeah.
But some of the older ones, it's purely, it has to be sunny. It has to be hot. Or else it's going to be, there's going to be no power or it's going to be, So most of these houses have that. And then because we have months where it's quite cold, people are like, no, we need to install instant showers.
Well, they seem to be working. I mean, because they're prevalent, but maybe we can start. Probably this is an opportunity, to start thinking of safer ways.
Safer ways.
For,
that's true. To power houses.
For hot water systems.
Hot water systems. Yes.
Yeah. And also, I think if I was to think about it, an instant shower system, it just, you only need to provide cold water piping.
That's true.
Yeah.
Doesn't need the
which
hot tap or
which saves you a lot of money.
Yes, that's very true.
And I see the angle, because like you said, in those old systems, you have to do the cold water piping and the hot water piping, and how that.
And there are some houses where you'd open the cold tap and there's hot water. It's a mess. So if it's easier to just have one, and then you have the instant shower, it's cheaper, it's easier for you as also a developer. So
but what I think we should do, again, because we may have limited knowledge in these things, in our guest section, we'll bring an engineer, electrical, mechanical engineer.
Yes.
And we can talk about these things. We can ask all these questions. Probably listeners and viewers can send in a few questions
before
that they have. Then we can discuss them. Because I think it's important for people to know that the risks that are involved in poor quality wiring, and do they even know what high quality wiring is to begin
yes,
with.
Yes.
Yeah.
There are people who don't even know where the switchboard or
Yes.
the mains are
Yeah.
in their house.
Yeah. And why it is important for them to know where that main switch is.
So in case of a fire and it's
Yes.
electrical, you first go and turn it off.
Exactly.
But people don't know that. They want to pour water fast. And it's electrical, but and it's unfortunate because sometimes we just don't know.
Yeah.
And it can cost you your life, but you need to know where the mains are because of any emergency, you need to turn it off fast.
There's a quote in the Bible that says, people perish for lack of knowledge.
That's true.
Yeah. It was ahead of its time.
That's very true. That's very, very true.
Yeah.
Yes.
And which I think ties also with the theme of cost effective.
Yes.
In as much as we are discussing these issues, we are also talking about how we can dispense this knowledge.
And I think that's why we keep it at very basic.
Yes.
So that it's supposed to be more for the layman.
Yeah.
Not because if you're in the construction industry, you have this information and you don't really know it. So it now target is mostly people who don't know. And even if you can pick up one or two things, fantastic.
That will improve your overall safety.
Safety and quality of life.
Now, another question, Monday, and I don't know if this is an important thing for you, but why do you think we don't design for disability anymore?
You know, the thing is, and this is what I think happens. Again, the first thing is enforcement. I wouldn't say lack of education because everyone knows that if I'm a developer, if I'm a contractor, it's not everyone who is fully able or I don't know how to refer to them, but this building will be used by people who are differently abled.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, you think of staircase, then a ramp all the way.
Yeah.
And most of these new developments have lifts.
Yeah.
But they don't factor in, as we've said, there's a fire.
Yeah.
You can't use the lift.
Yeah.
Because there are so many. Most people know that you're not supposed to use a lift when there's a fire. But then there are staircases.
Yeah.
And you have someone on a wheelchair.
Yeah.
Should we leave the person in the house to just, it's your day, I'm sorry, as we need to go because you can't, because what's the reasoning behind that? What happens to these people? Are we supposed to just abandon them in the houses because there's no way of getting them out safely and getting ourselves out safely? Because I do know that people will say it's your responsibility as a person to know that where you are, you should be able to. But if this is the available accommodation or house or if I'm in an office and I work there, it's not my office, I'm employed. And it's not my own doing that I'm in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
A fire starts, lift is not working, there are staircases. Do I expect my colleagues to carry me down the stairs? Yeah. But the developer at that point in time is just like, figure it out.
Yeah, but you see, it's... I'm not even sure how this can be solved. Because it truly is just one of those things. Because, as a developer, you'd think, okay, I'm sacrificing, a unit per floor, for this. But then I think maybe more needs to be done. Yes,
the most they do is the disabled toilets, and we've done a lot.
Oh yeah,
that's good enough. These are disabled toilets.
As
long as we put disabled toilets, we factored in everyone.
So I think a lot needs to be done around that. In our approach to buildings, let's not leave it in the dark.
That's true.
Because there's a lot to be gained. It's not just yes, I know making profits is important, but we can still be able to make profits while still operating in a space where buildings are safe.
And I think when we talk about structures, there's something else, a trend I have seen in very many residential properties where the balconies
Oh, yeah.
are not safe.
You had mentioned that actually.
Yes, and it's a thing that really bothers me because yes, there's the issue of aesthetics. So you want a nice glass.
Yeah.
What do I call it?
The
what do you call it?
Balustrading.
Yes, but not even the balustrades, but what do you call the boundary itself?
The railing.
The railing.
Yeah.
Yes. So you want something that serves an aesthetic purpose, but also because you're cutting down on costs, it's quite short.
That's true.
So for an adult, as I'm standing, it's somewhere just slightly above my knees.
Yeah.
And then these houses, most of them have children in them. Even leave alone children, even as an adult, you could be standing there and just something happens and
you fall over.
You fall over. But now I've seen it everywhere and I'm just thinking, does that mean that we use the houses but we stay away from the balconies? They're more of decoration for the people on the outside. Because again, even your children, you can't even imagine your children being on that balcony.
That's true.
But developer is concerned with other things and they're not thinking about the end users and the families that are going to use these properties and the safety of these properties, because that's actually a hazard. And I have seen someone falling off who was not even a child. And I think they came home a little bit intoxicated, probably just talking to someone there at the balcony. Fell over. So it's not just an issue when it comes to children, even adults.
Which is crazy, because, of course, I remember there's a time we were told by also another politician that safety begins with us. But then I think before it gets to us, whatever we are trusting, our lives to, in this case, the expertise of these developers, to create buildings that are safe for us, I think that should take precedence, and even as we think about these things, I think this should open up the conversation a bit more, so that now we start seeing, okay, fine, it's not normal to have a short railing on a balcony. This is what we should get, because once the demand shifts from the end user point of view, then they say, okay, fine, we like the building, but we won't take it because these are our list of demands. I think we'll start seeing a positive shift in terms of how the developers respond to this.
And I think yes, it begins with us, but we need to understand that one, the government owes us protection.
Oh, okay.
It does.
True,
I know.
True.
They might say it begins with us, but you have your responsibility towards your citizens. And the developers also owe the end users that. So we can't just say it's just us, because again, we also don't know. There are people who don't know, and there's only so much you can do. We've also said there's the issue of desperation and taking advantage of desperate people. So you just take what is there. You might know, but now you don't have an option. So it's quite unfortunate.
And on that bombshell, we'll end our episode here. But we will open the floor to a wider discussion. I think this is something that is beyond us in terms of how we can discuss about this. And I think we need to bring in a lot other voices and expert opinions in the things that we are seeing. But with that, we thank you for joining and listening in, watching. We will be with you in the next episode.
Thank you, and see you next time.